What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Mr. Battleball here with another video. Today we're going to be doing another tier list, but instead of being like the top competitive decks post-European Nationals, I'm going to be going over the best budget decks to go over instead. So basically, what we're gonna get into is I'm gonna rank them based off how good they are, based on like budget wise, and just how good of a deck they are in general. So this is gonna be more of like your rogue slash like non-rogue deck type beat tier list. But we're gonna get right into it. Enough hesitation. So going into it, where do I want to start? Cyber Dragons, honestly, I'm gonna put them in a slept on tier mainly because they're really good for OTKing. The reason why they're good for OTK, I mean, like the deck, but the Link Monster with Seeger and everything, is because they summon a bunch of stuff and they're big beaters. They can set up powerful boards really quickly if you can't stop them. They do kind of lose to Nib, like badly, but if they have like the really good, they can recover. And they're really good going second because you can just Dark Ruler. Since Cyber Dragons can special summon itself, you don't control a monster or your opponent does. It's really good. As you can see, I mean, I used to play Cyber Dragons for a little bit here and there. I got a friend who wants to play Cyber Dragons, but his deck it's slept on. It's not like the best, but it's good. It's just slept on at the moment. Starting off, damn, what deck don't want to even Drytron best deck. Oh, and this is affordable too. Dry. You should have seen this coming. I'm a Drytron player. Obviously, I'm putting Drytron as the best deck because this deck is. It's oh my god, I love this deck. There's many different builds. Creatively, you can do the Vanity, which is Vanity's ruler, and the Magic Key Battles Buster with unlocking this just counter trap. So basically, the Vanity build is wherever you normal summon your Vanity's ruler, so your opponent cannot special summon monsters, and then you summon Battles Buster, and you have Drytron like Disease Monster Fafnir for a one negate, and you also have Magic Key Unlocking Set, which is a counter trap, which just stops Dark Ruler. So basically, you kind of just you get free wins. A different build is like Max Vanity, where you normal summon and then you special summon your Chaos Max, the ritual monster, and then on your opponent's turn you tribute it, and then your opponent can activate monster effect for the rest of the turn when this card gets resolved. So, especially with Photon Hypernova bringing us Dynamondo, it's gas. My personal favorite build is the turn skip build, which you use Amor Factor Pain, which skips your opponent's main phase 1. And then you have Thunder Ruler, so there's no battle phase. So the turn becomes draw, standby phase, end turn, which is really hilarious because they can't do anything. As well as the Refactor Pain is a skill drain for extra deck monsters besides links. It means like Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, they all get negated while they're face up on the field. And it's continuous, so it doesn't activate. Moving on, I'm gonna rank Dark World, honestly. Dark World is slept on. They special summon a lot, and they can make some pretty powerful boards and OTK. Kind of the same thing as Cyber. I mean, these decks so far lose to Nib. This loses to Droll. The only reason if I'm being honest, I'm ranking it over here, somewhere between slept on and like in between. I'm between these two, honestly, for Drytron, like on a serious note. But it's going up here because I'm a Drytron meat writer, 100%. I'm a glazer for Drytron. So basically, what's going to happen is like Dark World, they special summon a bunch, search, special, draw, search, a special, rinse and repeat, summon out their big fusion monster from structure deck, and just go ham. Mad lad deck, I tell you. Moving on, we're going to go to Super Heavy Samurai. It's getting a good pilot, and depending on the build, it's good because Super Heavy Samurai is really cheap. like dirt cheap, but except like the extra deck is kind of be a little pricey, which is why it's ranked so low. Dark World it's just like dirt cheap, being honest. Cyber Dragon's kind of up there, but not really. But Super Heavy Samurai Scarecrow, you gotta have like a really good pilot playing a good player playing it. It's just the honest truth. It also depends on your build and how you want to play it. And the OCG, as I briefly talked about on the European Nationals video I did, the FTK and FTK variant of the deck is dead because that over there had 12 FTK one card combos and had a bunch of pseudo FTKs. But in the TCG, you would just like make spell canceller and you just kind of just beat your opponent, which is pretty nuts. But no, for the most part, Scarecrow being banned sucks because his deck. I mean, honestly, this deck would probably be a next best deck to one of the best decks. But now it's dead. Honestly, and most people are gonna rank it at please play something else, but me, I'm putting it over here. As you can do, like you still do the FTKs over here in the TCG. You can make like a bunch of boards with hand looping and negates as well still. So this deck it's powerful. It's just not good enough. Like it's not like, oh, you're sleeping on this. It's just like, man, he's a really good player. We're gonna get into ninjas. Ninjas, oof. I'm gonna put ninjas at the next best deck personally. I mean, ninjas for like rogue is basically the counter to Kashtira. Same with dinos. I'm ranking ninja and dinos at the same time. Dinos is going up there. Actually, I can't because of ground Zeno and stuff. The only reason it sends up here because it's not necessarily budget friendly. Drytron's budget friendly mostly. Ninja's really budget friendly. Ninja is honestly, as I mentioned, it's a counter to Cash Tier because everything they just flip your monsters face down and just start tributing all your stuff. So that's fun, and they kind of just can just beat you to death with traps and other stuff. But it's really good. You can still put up negates. You can still interrupt your opponent's turn. You can attack directly with that one ninja. I don't know the names of them, but I didn't want to rank this, but I have to. Traptrix is going at the very top because it's extremely affordable, and it's also really good. It's a trap heavy deck, as the name would suggest, but it's not. It's not like the worst deck ever. It's really good. Before the archetype came out, it was like no one was playing it, but now people still play it because of the structure deck. I mean, as I can be saying it, it made this nuts. Even with evenly matched as a super rare in that set, and the structure deck is even more insane. But Tratrix is good. Honestly, I'm putting it over Drytron because it's super. It's for like it's even beginner friendly too. It's beginner friendly. It's kind of slower paced in a way, if that makes sense. And then it's really, really affordable as well. I'm gonna make a separate one for Cash. Nah, I love Cash here, but it can't go on the list unfortunately because we are talking about other stuff. I'm gonna use Dark Infant. That's not Infant. That's that Link 3. I don't know the name for it, but I'm putting this for Mathmech Adagnister. Or just Adagnister in general, too. It's slept on. It's between the same as Super Heavy, I would say. I'll put it here. Basically, they're going to special summon a bunch of them right on Arrival Adagnister. So, what Arrival Adagnister is the boss monster, and it's unaffected by other cards' effects. And the more different attributes you use to summon it, the more the more attack it gains. It gains 1,000 for each different attribute. So most people are gonna I think Dark Infant changes the attributes. They're gonna call like Divine and stuff just to get like different attributes on the board, which is really insane. But I just want to talk about it briefly. I hate the deck because of that. Mathmech Adagnister is more powerful just because you can just go access go PPP, get rid of your opponent, all that fun stuff. Going on next, what do I want to do personally? Is there more Dolce on here? This thing is so dang small I can't really see. Oh, it's Mathmech right there. So yeah, regular Adagnister. Sky Striker is slept on. I mean, Azalea. Azalea is just generic. You can even play it in Runic Twin Sprite or Runic Fur Hire, but it's more like Runic Twin Sprite because it's a It's a two. It's also a dark, and it's really generic. But Sky Striker, if you don't know, they play a bunch of spells. Like their main, I don't think they play that many traps. Being honest, their main thing is kind of just spells. It's their whole shtick. And so just for that, even able to have more playing power to play on your opponent's turn with their spells, you're just whittling them down is really good. It loses to Eradicator though, but we're gonna move on to Salamangreat. It's going straight to the top. It's extremely powerful, and it's extremely power. It's super budget friendly. I'm not sure if you want to call Access Code Talker. I mean, you have to play Access Code Talker in order to label OTK. Basically, what it does, you can even make Meguskin passive, spare yourself a turn. If you do, you kind of just auto win because you're just gonna go update Jammer, Transcode Talker, Transcode Talker, summon update Jammer, link them, chain link one, chain link two, follow yada 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 yada. So an access code against 5300 attack destroys all your opponent's stuff and attacks twice directly. So I mean it's really good. If Madolche was on here, which I don't think it is, we're gonna rank it. I would put it up there because it's extremely powerful. It's a bunch of earth, especially with the combining with Vernisylph, which came in Darkwing Blast. That goes bonkers, dude. I'm telling you. I don't know much about Madolche, but it's pretty good from what I've seen. It's really good from a competitive standpoint and a super budget friendly. So honestly, Crystal Beast is slept on as well. I'm not. It's not like really good, but it's slept on. I know there's just one person on Spuds when I go to. His name is whatever. Shout out to Honor because he plays CB Crystal Beast and he's really good with them. You can OTK. You can control your opponent. You can play mid range. This deck basically is like with the OTK. You can be like Salad over here. You can be like mid range, like Sprite in a way, or you can control like this garbage ass deck, Altergeist or Eldelich. Speaking of which, Altergeist just with the new support, honestly, I think it's going to be slept on, but we're going to save that for a different video. Sword Soul. Tenny Sword Soul's got to have a good pilot. The reason why Tenny, I mean, the deck isn't necessarily dead. Some of the other like Synchro monsters see Plague as they're generic, but Tenny's Sword Soul is still really good. It just depends on your build, it depends on the player. A good player can make the deck really good. A bad player is going to lose every single time with this deck. It's a good deck, you just got to build it correctly. Um, do I got time for one more? Doing this for you, Morgan. Brave PK. You're gonna chill bitch ass over here. Brave Phantom Knights is really good, especially with like Adventure PK or Brave PK, as I used to say. Makes his deck gas. They can summon out a bunch of negates and everything, even Dragoon, which is pretty cool. I mean, I don't know actually, because Verte got banned. I haven't seen this deck being played after Verte, but Phantom Brave PK is actually pretty good. I wouldn't necessarily put it at the next best deck. I would just say it's between Slept-On and Gotta Have a Good Pilot. So I'm gonna put this honestly at the very end. Other stuff. It's dude. Anyway, anything? Do I have time for one more? Add Emancipator is good too. It's just you compare it with Super Heavy Samurai and the deck goes bonkers still, which is amazing. But it's slept on. Tri Brigade. Tri Brigade is it's good. It's also I'm pretty sure it's cheap as of right now, and it's pretty powerful. If you want to get into like link summoning a bit more, this deck is for you because you're going to be link summoning a whole lot, and they're beasts too, which is pretty cool. So their boss monster is the Omen. It's 3k attack. You can banish one card from your opponent. You're mainly going to be summoning with Revolt because Revolt makes the world go round. On a serious note, Revolt especially wants a bunch of your Tri Brigade monsters from your graveyard, and you can just banish it. You banish them to link summon, which is really cool. You're going to be banishing and linking a lot. So your deck loses to Lancia and Lancia. So now that I have these, I think it's fair to rank one more. Just one. If you're playing Elder Lich right now, you want this deck to be the meta again so bad. Basically, Dogmatica brand Elder Lich is pretty cool, but stop. Just please, you're coping right now. So strength and weaknesses. This deck right here loses to Royal. I think it's Iron Wall. I think it's Iron Wall. Is it Iron Wall? Anyway, it's the continuous trap card that negates all other traps face up on the field. So, anyways, let me look that up. It's something to Royal Decree or Iron Wall. I'm looking like a dumbass right now. Iron Wall's banish cards. It's Decree, you goober. And Royal Decree, negate other trap cards on the field. Cool. So Royal Decree, evenly match. Anything that's like back row hate removal, like back row, like removal slash hate, basically kind of just shits on Labyrinth and Trap Tricks. So getting into it, Drytron has a really powerful counter to Trap Tricks, which is Odd Eyes Gravity Dragon. Because on the summon, it returns all spell and traps your opponent controls to their hand, and you cannot respond. So that's pretty nuts. Ninjas, their biggest weakness is themselves, because if they brick, they lose. Dinos is Lancia and Droll. We already talked about Drivegate. Drytron loses to Droll. The deck auto dies to Droll. This loses to Nib. 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 Eradicator Epidemic. Nib. Nib. Everything in this list basically loses to Nib except Sword Soul. No, it kind of loses heavy. I mean, except Eldritch, but those are the strengths and weaknesses. Making this quick little video. I'll kind of have to sleep. Usually when I record these, I'm like half asleep. This is like sometime in the morning and stuff. But surely I'm going to be making some deck profiles and combo tutorials for some of these other decks. Leave a comment of what deck you want to see the most. Just pick one, and I'll do one a deck profile off it. And let me know if y'all have anything else. I hope y'all enjoyed the video and all that. Like and subscribe. It's from Mr. Badable signing off again. Please comment which one you want to see first, so I can make that. But on the flip side, I will catch y'all later.